Perry Groves, good to see you. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I wish Jason was alongside. Oh, you could do Monday, Thursday, Friday, that's fine. But on a night like this, you're thinking, I just want to see the pain in his face, because there will be pain there. Do you
think he'll be hurting deep inside?
I think he will. There's so many questions I want to throw your way. But let's start, as we should, with the team that won, the team that were excellent. They did all they had to do. I said there in the opener, I don't think they really got out of second or third gear. They did everything they had to. Leicester City, get this now, halfway through the season, exactly, bang on, atop of the Premier League. They're above United, they're above City, they're above Liverpool, they're above Spurs, above Everton, etc. That's unbelievable, isn't it?
Leicester City have an elite manager who knows the Premier League. He makes his players better. He knows his best starting 11. He knows his best formation. And if you look at Leicester's recruitment, is absolutely fantastic. Look at Castagna, James Justin, these players, that the younger players, Fofana, that they've brought in. And to be fair to Brendan Rodgers, he improves players as well. You look how much Maddison has improved, Harvey Barnes has improved, even Tielemans who is improved, and he was obviously a good acquisition. So, and you know there's loads. You know, the worrying thing. There's a lot of worrying things for Chelsea fans with that performance. Leicester weren't at their best. I think Leicester have got another gear or two gears to go above that.
From what we saw.
From what they saw. They were really comfortable. And a sad indictment in the 89th minute when Leicester have got a free kick down in the far left-hand corner. James Justin gets fouled by Ziyech. Normally, if you think the other team's going to put you under pressure and you're struggling a bit, you run the ball in the corner. Leicester like that, nah. That was just a total lack of respect for all Chelsea. We're going to score a third. And with Chelsea, I'm looking at them. The biggest worry is I don't think the players are having Frank Lampard and Jody Morris as a coaching team, and they're not having Frank Lampard as a manager, because there's no intensity, there's no desire. If you look at the goals, the first goal, the short corner, what did we scream straight away? 2v1. It's 2v1. Nobody reacts to go out. It's Maddison and Albrighton. No one reacts to go out. The second goal is it's a long pass from Albrighton. Then Vardy gets the wrong side of Rudiger, who fouls him. Then all of a sudden, James Maddison is completely unmarked. It's a good finish as well, by the way. Cool finish, right foot. Yeah. But then you look and you think, well, where's Reece James? In the build-up, Reece James is 3 yards to 4 yards goal side of James Maddison. And as the ball's travelling in the air, he's 3 yards behind him. So that just shows me that there isn't that work ethic and that intensity to do your job for the team. He played his three in midfield. Again, he's 4-3-3. The midfield of Havertz, Kovacic and Mason Mount, that's not a strong enough midfield.
No, it's not.
When you're away at Leicester, it's not physical enough. All right, they're all good technical players. Chelsea's team, to me, is screaming for a 4-2-3-1. That's their best formation,
I agree.
right?
I totally agree with you.
So Frank Lampard's not seeing it. He makes no changes at half-time when his team are struggling, keeps the same formation. I said it before, when he got the job, it was too early for him, that he was learning his trade. He did well last year. He had his free season, didn't he? Because obviously there's limited expectations and you couldn't go and get any players. This team's gone backwards with £220 million spent on it. He's not an elite manager, and he's at an elite football club.
Do you think it'll be, just yes or no, there's so many people I want to go to, do you think he'll be sacked within the next 48 hours?
If he wasn't Frank Lampard, he would be.
Okay.
I think Frank Lampard, because of who he is and the club legend that he is and the great player that he was, he might get a little bit more time.
The only reason I asked that, I haven't got them in front of me, but I remember when I looked at them before, the next two games are winnable games on paper. And I'm just thinking, if they're going to sack, usually they bring a new man in with games like that rather than the tough games. I just wonder if that's... Anyway, that defeat for Chelsea leaves them 8th in the Premier League. Above them are West Ham United. West Ham are 7th. They beat West Brom by 2-1. I mean, I keep looking at the league table to make sure what I'm going to say is correct. West Ham are 7th, 2 points off top 4, 6 points off top spot. Wow.
I'm a gooner, right?
Yeah.
We've had a particularly poor season.
Yep.
2 points behind Chelsea.
Yeah.
And we are going to get better because we couldn't get any worse. We're gradually getting better.
And they get worse.
Chelsea are getting worse and worse and worse.
Let me ask you this just quickly, because I do want to take calls. Are Chelsea, if they continue going the way they're going, are they in danger of falling out of the top 10?
No, I think they've got enough players for top 10. Okay. But I don't think, with Frank Lampard in charge, they don't have any chance of top 4.
Jacob is a Chelsea fan. He's up first. Jacob, good evening to you.
Hi, Hi guys, hope you both well.
Hello,
I
Jacob.
want to start with I want to start with Leicester. Really, I think they played reasonably well. I don't think, as you boys have said, they were nowhere near their best. They didn't have to be, because I honestly believe that we're a shadow of a team that we once were. When you look back in decades where you had Lampard, John Terry, Didier Drogba, you had that dressing room where they would not allow you to play the way that we are playing. Currently, we don't have a voice in the dressing room at the moment. I don't think Lampard's up to the job. I respect Lampard massively for what he's done for the club. But I just feel that the time is right, and I don't want his reputation to be tainted. He needs to remain a legend of the football club.
Do you think he needs to go tonight?
I think a decision's got to be made. Yeah, I honestly do, and it hurts me to say that because I respect Lampard massively, and I'll never stop respecting for what he did for the club. But I don't want his reputation as a club legend to be completely torn apart, and I feel that it could be.
Jacob, you know what you said there about leaders in the dressing room? You look at your Chelsea fan, you look at your team, there's no stature in that team. There's no players, if any. I know Thiago Silva's experienced player, right? But he's not a shout on a baller, he's more lead. But you look at that team when you're not playing very well, you think, who's going to get us out of trouble here? Who's going to pull the team up by its bootstraps? I don't see anybody in that team.
No, and that is half. Well, that's half the issue. There isn't anyone. As I said, I don't want to refer back to John Terry, but if Chelsea weren't playing well, then they would all know about it. And as the point you just made, there isn't anyone in the dressing room that is actually pulling them together and saying, boys, this isn't good enough. This is not good enough for Chelsea Football Club. On Havertz, really briefly, I feel that playing him on the right-hand side of midfield, I thought he should be playing as number 10, ideally. He should be playing behind the front man.
Yep.
He should be trying to create chances for Werner, for Giroud, for Abraham, whoever's playing. And I don't think he knows his best starting 11.
No.
And it shows. There's no passion. There's no leadership. There's no passion. No. There's no aggression.
I also, Jacob, thanks for your call. I also think, Perry, that, I'm sure he's a lovely lad, Tammy Abraham. He's not good enough to lead the line for Chelsea.
I don't think he's a top 6 striker in the Premier League. I think he misses too many chances. And to be fair, Chelsea aren't creating that many. He doesn't hold the ball up well enough. But let's be honest, he's playing in a team that is really struggling at the moment. No, so to judge someone... No,
of course, I'm not judging it, but when you look at previous number 9s at Chelsea, like Diego Costa, Didier Drogba, these are...
Presence again.
Yeah.
It's all about presence. And Frank Lampard keeps sticking with this 4-3-3 all the time. And I've said, I reckon it's like a stuck record. I've been saying for over a season, the free midfield players that he's had aren't like the Liverpool free midfield players when they're strongest.
He needs to play a 4-2-3-1.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Thomas is up next, a Chelsea fan. You can have your say on national radio simply by picking up the phone and dialing in 08717 223344. Thomas, good evening to you.
Good evening.
Hello, Thomas.
Oh dear, big sigh and intake of breath, Thomas. Go on, off you go.
Well, it's absolutely harrowing, this whole situation, to be honest. The performance from start to finish was flat, lacklustre, without any intentionality, without any intensity at all. The players don't look like they understand our instructions. Frank isn't identifying the obvious tactical flaws of the 4-3-3 system, which have already been pointed out tonight, really. But we're basically playing with 9 men most of the time. The gap between the midfield and the forwards is so big. Pulisic and Ziyech aren't dropping back deep enough to help us retain possession to make the formation anywhere near effective. And he's just putting the same formation out every week with different players, upsetting any chemistry that there was in the week before. And it doesn't... I've been saying for weeks that the 4-2-3-1 has got to be tried. It's the most obvious, I would say, thing to rely on at the moment to adopt a pragmatic approach to get the best out of the squad we have. But he seems intent on making this 4-3-3 work. And the lacklustre performance, the mood of those players, the fact that they're constantly just looking at the ground. I mean, we saw them walking off the pitch tonight. They look like they just left a funeral. I'm not even exaggerating. That mood, I'm sorry, reflects Lampard's own belief and knowledge as to what he's doing tactically.
Thomas, do you want him out tonight?
I could never say that. You
want him to stay?
No, I'm not talking about... listen, Everyone in football likes Frank Lampard. There's no taking away what he did in a Chelsea shirt and a West Ham
You've got to
shirt.
separate player to manager.
For the good of your club, is Frank Lampard going to get you top 4? Is Frank Lampard going to win you the Premier League? Is Frank Lampard going to win you the Champions League?
Well, I'll put it this way. For the money that we've spent on the squad, not finishing on the top 4 is not acceptable. But the way we're playing at the moment, it doesn't look like we're going to get anywhere near that. I wouldn't even bank on us to finish in the top 6 with the way we're playing.
Do you want to keep him, though?
Of course I'd love to keep him, but do I think that he can get us into the top 4? No, I don't. And I think it's getting to the point where someone's going to... But the thing is, looking at the results, it looks like something's got to change. But it will be so bad for the soul of Chelsea Football Club for him to go. I mean, it will put the...
No, I think it's the other way around, Thomas. No, I think it's the other way around. I think with Frank Lampard there, there's no soul in that team. The players are not having Frank Lampard. And I'll put Jody Morris because he's his coach as well, isn't he? So you're looking for direction. You're looking for the players to buy into what the manager wants you to do and the coach wants you to do. That's not happening with Chelsea. So Chelsea fans have to differentiate between Frank Lampard, the fantastic footballer, club legend, all-time leading goal scorer, and the manager. You have to be that ruthless.
Yeah.
Because Chelsea are a massive football club, an elite football club. They haven't got elite coaching.